Welcome to Tales from the Dark, a place where shadows whisper stories and nightmares come alive. Dim your lights, put on your headphones, and get ready, because tonight the darkness itself will be your storyteller. Each tale you hear will linger, creeping beneath your skin, haunting your dreams long after the story ends. Let's enter the darkness together. I didn't hear anyone knock. No footsteps, no delivery truck, no rustling of plastic bags or the familiar drag of a package across the doormat. There was just a faint tap, like something small had fallen. It was 2:17 a.m. when I opened the door. At that hour, everything feels heavier. The walls seem too close. The air carries the weight of unspoken things. You listen harder, but the silence listens back. I looked down. It was just a USB drive, black, scratched. No markings, no label. It sat there, still warm from a touch I hadn't seen. I stood there in my pajama pants and socks, staring at it. My porch light buzzed overhead like it was trying to warn me in Morse code. Something about the way it sat there felt placed, not dropped, like it was waiting. I should have left it, God knows I should have, but I didn't. Because the mind is a traitor, always curious, always hungry. And I was alone. No roommate to stop me, no partner to talk sense into me. Just me and the drive, and the endless dark around my house, thick like oil. So I picked it up. It was heavier than I expected, cold now. Back inside, I stared at it on the kitchen table for a long time, like it might twitch, like it was breathing through the little metal port. I didn't plug it in right away, not that night, but I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing it. Not sounds exactly, just the idea of sound. A low static hum, like someone mumbling under a heavy blanket. I got up at 4:03 a.m., turned on my laptop and inserted the drive. It didn't light up, no boot sound, no autoplay, just a single folder, no name, no timestamp. Inside, one file, Watch Me MP4. I hovered the mouse over it, my hand shook. When I clicked, the screen went black. For a second, I thought I broke it, but then a video started, grainy. Like an old home VHS recording, a hallway, narrow, white walls, light flickering from above. The camera moved forward in uneven jerks, like someone was walking with it at chest level. No sound. Then a door, closed, wooden, no markings. The camera reached for the doorknob, paused, and then turned around. The hallway was now different, longer, more doors. All of them slightly open, and one of them closest to the camera creaked wider on its own. Inside, it was me, sitting at this exact table, wearing the same clothes, watching the same screen. I slammed the laptop shut. My skin went ice cold. There's no way. No! I opened the laptop again. The file was gone. The USB had ejected itself. But the screen didn't return to normal. It stayed black, with just a single white line in the top left corner blinking, like it was waiting for me to type something. I waited. Then the letters started to appear one at a time. You looked, then nothing, just that blinking cursor. I yanked the drive out and threw it in the trash. But that night my phone buzzed, no number, just a video message. The same hallway, same camera movement, same room at the end. Only this time the door was already open. I didn't click it, I didn't have to. The video played by itself, and I saw something in the doorway now. Not me, not anyone, just movement. Like something was breathing behind the lens. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that hallway, saw that door, saw the shape that didn't move like a person should. Something about the way it hovered, the way it existed without really being. It sat in my mind like a parasite. I could feel it watching me from behind closed eyelids. By sunrise, I had convinced myself it was a prank, a deepfake, a creepy, elaborate ARG. Maybe someone was messing with me, a neighbor, or someone from the dark corners of the internet I'd wandered into one too many times. That's what I told myself. I got dressed, ate toast I couldn't taste, tried to work. But the USB, it was still in the trash, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. At noon, my doorbell rang. I jumped so hard I knocked over my coffee. My heartbeat was in my throat. Hands shaking, I approached the door slowly, slower than I needed to, and opened it. Nothing. No person, no footsteps, no wind. Just an envelope, unmarked. I picked it up with the edge of my sleeve. Inside was a single printed photograph, grainy, crooked, black and white, of me, asleep in bed, mouth slightly open, my hand curled near my face, sheets half tangled. It wasn't a selfie, wasn't a screenshot from a video. It was taken from the corner of my ceiling. I don't have a camera in my room. I don't have anything on the ceiling. I ran to my bedroom, looked up, nothing there. But the wall felt wrong, off. I knocked against it, hollow. There was something behind it. I didn't touch it again. Instead, I called the police. Tried to sound calm, rational. Explained that someone was stalking me, breaking in, leaving things. They said they'd send someone, they never showed. I called back. The dispatcher told me. No call had been logged under my number, that no report had been made. I asked for the name of the officer. She paused, then said, "You already know who he is," and hung up. I sat in silence for hours after that, laptop off, phone unplugged, TV black. But the house didn't feel quiet. It buzzed, like a million silent machines were purring beneath the drywall. Then the light in the kitchen blinked, and the hallway outside my room darkened, and I heard it. Footsteps, soft, shifting, slow, coming from the hallway. I opened the door, heart racing, fists clenched, but there was nothing. Except my laptop, open on the floor, and the screen was on. Showing a paused video, a new one, not the hallway. This time, it was me. Sitting on the toilet, not moving, head down, dead eyes staring at the ground. And in the background of the frame, a figure, tall, covered in something dark and shifting, its face blurred like it wasn't meant to be seen. But I felt it smile, even through the pixels. And above the figure, scrawled in red glitching letters across the video window, were the words, "You saw it. Now it sees you." I didn't scream. I couldn't. Something about the air in the room had changed. It felt charged, like the moment before a lightning strike, but inside my chest. The kind of silence that doesn't just swallow sound, it chokes thought. I backed away from the laptop, slowly, carefully, like it might lunge at me if I moved too fast. The screen didn't flicker. The video didn't end. The image stayed frozen me on the toilet, lifeless, and that thing standing just behind me, half draped in something I couldn't describe. I reached for the power cord and yanked it. The screen went black. And for one long, merciless second, my reflection in the screen didn't match. It kept staring back, smiling. I fell. Scrambled backward across the floor until I hit the wall and sat there, shaking knees to my chest, breathing like something was sitting on me. This was beyond a prank, beyond surveillance. This wasn't about watching anymore. It was about replacing. That night I left the house, took my keys, my wallet, nothing else. I drove without knowing where I was going, just away. I ended up at a motel 2 towns over. Cheap, quiet. The kind of place where the front desk doesn't ask questions if you pay in cash. I checked in. Room 108. One light bulb flickering over the mirror, peeling wallpaper, a TV that only buzzed white noise. But at least it wasn't home. I didn't sleep though. I sat on the edge of the bed with the lights off and the curtains drawn tight. Every noise outside felt surgical, intentional. A soft knock, a shoe scuff, a slow car rolling by just once too many times. At 3:11 a.m. my phone buzzed. Blocked number. I shouldn't have answered, but my hand moved on its own. The line was quiet. My voice, but not live, not speaking. It was a recording. I recognized the exact moment. It was me from 2 days earlier saying it's just a USB. Then silence. And another voice, low, wrong, whispering so close to the speaker I could hear the saliva behind the teeth. It said it's never just a USB. Then a click, and the file auto-downloaded, Watch Me 2.mp4. I didn't open it. I wouldn't, but the screen dimmed on its own, and the video started anyway. Same hallway, same door, same jerky camera. But this time the door was open, and inside was my motel room. The same bedspread, the same crack in the wall, even the same chair I was sitting on. But I wasn't in it. Something else was, hunched, facing away from the camera, twitching slightly like it had just learned how to sit still. I slammed the phone face down, then turned it off, then smashed it against the wall until the battery split. But when I looked back at the TV, it was on and showing the exact same footage. Only now the thing had turned around. Its face was almost mine. Almost, but not quite. The skin didn't fit right. The eyes were too deep. The mouth, God, the mouth. It stretched and stretched. And then in perfect sync with my heartbeat, it whispered, "You gave me your name. Now I can be you." I ran, left everything behind, phone shards, wallet, room key, didn't care. I ran barefoot across cracked parking lot asphalt gravel, slicing into the soles of my feet, the cold air cutting through my chest like I'd swallowed glass. I didn't look back, because I knew what would happen if I did. It wasn't just chasing me, it was mirroring me. With every step I took, it was learning more how I moved, how I sounded, how I broke. By the time I reached the main road, I didn't even know where I was anymore. The signs had no text. The streetlights didn't hum. Cars passed, but they had no drivers. Just dark shadows behind the wheel. Or worse, faces I recognized. My face, twisted, smiling, everywhere. I made it to a diner just before sunrise, one of those 24-hour places where the air smells like burnt coffee and grease-stained nostalgia. It was empty. Too empty. No staff, no customers. But the door was unlocked. I stepped inside, sat in the corner booth, stared at the laminated menu even though I couldn't read a single word on it. The letters were wrong, like they were trying to shape themselves into words they didn't quite understand. Then the jukebox turned on. No one touched it. No power, but it played not music recordings of me. From childhood, my 3rd birthday, a school play, a voicemail I left for my mom 10 years ago. All stitched together into a song that had no rhythm, just emotion, raw, hollow. I covered my ears, didn't help. The noise wasn't coming from the jukebox, it was inside my head. And then, the waitress appeared. No sound, just blink and she was there. Back turned, hair in a bun, apron stained red in all the wrong places. She turned slowly, gracefully, like a hinge bending backward. And her face was perfect. Too perfect. Like a mannequin carved from memory, only the sculptor had never actually seen a human before. And when she opened her mouth, it didn't move right. Not vertical, but horizontal, ear to ear. And she said, "You left the door open." I ran again, but I never reached the exit because the door was gone. Just white wall and a window, and outside the window me staring in, dead eyes, pale skin, twitching fingers, and in his hand, in my hand, was the USB. He raised it, pressed it against the glass, and I could see the words carved into it now. "Return to sender." The glass cracked, then split, then shattered not outward but inward. The thing climbed through like it had always belonged in this world. Like I was the intruder now, it stood there brushing dust from its shoulders, and said in my exact voice, "Your trial version has expired. Full possession begins now." And then, nothing. Darkness, not black absence. No sound, no time, no sensation. Until I woke up, back in my apartment. Same bed, same sheets. Only one difference, the mirror on the far wall. It used to be cracked, now it's whole. And my reflection doesn't quite follow my movements. Sometimes it lags, sometimes it gets ahead, sometimes and then it smiles when I don't. The USB nowhere to be found, my laptop still there waiting. But every time I open the lid, the screen just shows one thing, me staring back. Same expression, same clothes, same dead eyes. And the moment I blink, so does he. But I know, one day he won't. And when that happens, he'll be the one watching. He'll be the one telling this story, and I'll be the next file, somewhere deep in the drive. Another dead MP4 in a folder with no name, waiting to be clicked. Waiting for you, so go ahead, plug it in. You're curious, aren't you? You've already read this far, and that's all it takes. Curiosity is consent. You looked. Now it looks back.